So I guess they cast Fantastic Four. Um, we all knew about Adam Driver. We all knew about him. Now Harley Quinn, that's at first I was like, if that's who it is, we'll have to watch the video, react to the video and everything. But I actually could see it. You know, she did a great Harley Quinn. She's a great actress. She's beautiful. She can act. She's funny. She can do serious roles. So I see it. So let's see what they're talking about.
Welcome back, everyone. Marvel has reportedly cast the rest of the main Fantastic Four actors, and there are a couple big surprises. We already know a lot about the new movie that they're doing, so I'll explain how that fits into Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty and their plans for Avengers 6 Secret Wars and all those characters going forward. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos, and we're still doing
subscribe. Hit that subscribe button.
Giveaway for tickets. I'll name another winner during the video. My review for that will post on Wednesday. If you haven't seen the news this past week, though, a bunch of sites have been reporting that all 4 main members of the new MCU version of the Fantastic Four have been cast. There's lots of Galactus casting news. I'll address that later in the video, too. Just starting with the mains, though, apparently Adam Driver is going to be the new Reed Richards of the MCU. I talked about this a couple weeks ago because there have been early reports about him. Speaking of Fantastic Four and Reed Richards, Elizabeth Olsen, talk about Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness and John Krasinski, had a funny reaction to this recently because she doesn't keep up with all the multiverse story of it all. She said she only really pays attention to the stuff she's in, so she was really confused as to why it was a different actor, why it wasn't just John Krasinski coming back to be Reed Richards in the MCU.
That Adam Driver is going to play that character.
What?
I know.
Why did John do it? Because different multiverses?
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
I understand now.
She's like that all the time. When she was taking the lie detector test about John Krasinski, Reed Richards, she actually didn't know who the smartest man alive was. She didn't know in the comics that's also what they call Reed Richards and what they call him during the movie. Her brain just didn't...
You just expect all these actors to really, like, half of these people didn't even read comics or really watch it. Like, they're just actors. They're paid actors. People be wanting to read so bad and want you to know everything that... No. I mean, yeah, you're supposed to do your research or homework, but you're not going to know everything about the character unless you grew up watching, reading, studying that. So, like, everyone's not a fan of comic books. So, they're like... I do understand, but I do think Jim from The Office should be Mr. Fantastic. Yes. And I think it would be a perfect casting would have had Jim being Mr. Fantastic and Adam Driver being Dr. Doom.
Make the connection that they were talking about Reed Richards.
Do you think this man is the smartest man alive?
No.
Damn.
It wasn't even like I'm really good at like hiding a lie. Like I had no idea why they were asking me that question.
Right.
And I also didn't shoot with him, but I knew he was going to be in it.
Right.
There's a lot we can say about Adam Driver as Reed Richards, but casting him, it sounds like Marvel wanted a much darker, more hardcore take on the character. Adam Driver was also reportedly considered for the new version of Doctor Doom as well, and most people thought of Doctor Doom when his name was mentioned, like, wow, he's an awesome Doctor Doom.
IQ,
just
bro.
Because he's known for playing that type of really dark, broody character that Doctor Doom is. But it sounds like this new version of the Fantastic Four is going to be way more serious than the last versions that we've seen before.
Well, yeah, that was
like
early stages.
Reed Richards. If you didn't read that story...
And no matter what they say, the Fantastic movies are good movies. Everyone likes to talk down on it and talk about it. They're great movies.
Storyline, it's the one that leads up to Secret Wars with all the incursions, destroying all these different universes in the multiverse. During it, Reed Richards just flat out goes Kylo Ren, bully Maguire, let those other universes die. Everything dies. No reason to cry about it.
Look at little Goblin Jr. Gonna cry?
That was before they knew what was going on, why the incursions were happening, and that the Beyonders were behind them. In the MCU, it's going to be the Council of Kangs that are coming for them. Kang Dynasty sort of replacing that part of the storyline in the comics. But think of it this...
And I see reports saying that they're going to get rid of... I can't even think his name right now, but y'all know Kang. How are they going to do that when they already did the whole Dynasty Kang? Imagine them really getting Franklin from Snowfall to replace him. And then we see a whole bunch of Franklins just all around there like the Council of Kangs. That'll be hilarious.
this way, now Adam Driver can play both Reed Richards in the MCU, and he can also play the Maker from the Ultimate Universe. If you didn't read those comics, that's just an evil version of Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe, Miles Morales' universe. In fact, that version of Sue Storm from that universe, that Invisible Woman, becomes a version of Kang eventually. That's how hard they roll in the Ultimates universe. And speaking of the new Sue Storm Invisible Woman, reportedly it's going to be Margot Robbie of all people, which is a big surprise to me because
I'm happy for it.
Continue to be
She's
Harley Quinn
sexy
in the new DC movies rebooted universe, and that's in spite of all the Fantastic Four Marvel stuff. Like, it sounds like he kind of knew that was going on behind the scenes.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Had to go number 2.
Good to know.
I don't have quite as much of an opinion about her or an opinion about the Sue Storm character as I do about Reed Richards and Adam Driver, but I definitely think she can pull it off, and I don't think she's quite at Chris Pratt levels of overexposure. Like, she's in the Barbie movie that's coming out real soon. There's memes everywhere. We'll take 4 tickets to the Barbie movie, please. But the Adam Driver casting kind of explains the tone and the vibe of this version of the Fantastic Four, just in general. Like, Adam Driver does have a little bit of humor in some of his characters. Like, he's not all seriousness, but it's just a much darker take, a much darker tone. So flowing with that, Margot Robbie would be a slightly more serious version of the character than Jessica Alba's version. The new version of the Thing will reportedly be Daveed Diggs, who most of you might not recognize because he's going to look like a giant rock creature, kind of like Korg once he gets his powers. But his biggest stuff before this was Hamilton. He was in a new DC Super Pets movie as Cyborg, so he's already been in the DC universe before this. He was also in some of the animated Star Wars series. He did the new Snowpiercer series, talk about Fantastic Four Marvel connections, which was based on the movie that was originated by Chris Evans, the original Human Torch. And more recently, like literally, as I'm making this video, he is the voice of Sebastian the Crab.
Yeah, I was like, he was just in a movie. I can't think of it. Yeah, that's cool. Like, you're doing that voice, bro. Like, it's not gonna be hard. But he did a great job as Sebastian, I think.
The new Little Mermaid live-action remake.
Time to float in under the sea.
Don't worry, he is not going to sound like that during the Fantastic Four movie. He's a great actor, so I am interested to see what his Ben Grimm is like. Obviously going to be very different from Michael Chiklis' version of the character. Supposedly, they also tried to do a new version of Ben Grimm during the She-Hulk series, but it would have been human form Ben Grimm. And I think the reason why they decided not to do it is just because it created too many continuity errors and because of what it sounds like they're doing with the actual story of the Fantastic Four movie and the new version of their backstory. I'll explain that story in a second. The new version of Johnny Storm, Human Torch, though, is reportedly going to be Paul Mescal, who's mostly done a lot of smaller and indie stuff. I wouldn't call him a total unknown, but of all the different Fantastic Four actors, he would be considered the new
I have no idea who that is.
Comic book special effects heavy movies like this.
I think he's the only one that has to have some type of comedic relief. Like, it has to be. He don't have to be like a comedian, but he has to be some type of funny. He gonna have to, of course, he's gonna be young, reckless, wild. Like, that's the only one. So Sue, Mr. Fantastic, and obviously the Thing, like, they could be serious actors. It don't matter. I think that's what's gonna make or break this movie is the Human Torch.
Here's the interesting thing about their new backstory in the MCU. The designer that Marvel hired for the movie is mostly known for doing period pieces, so a lot of people think that this is evidence that they're going with that crazy fan theory about the Fantastic Four being from a different time period and then time traveling to present day before Avengers 5, Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars. Meaning that the Fantastic Four scene during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness with John Krasinski's Reed Richards was actually meant to be a teaser for the new MCU version of the team.
Hello, Steven. Fantastic Four. Didn't you guys chart in the 60s?
Originally, most people assumed that was more of a Beatles joke because the Beatles were called the Fab Four back in the 1960s, and the Fantastic Four debuted in the comics in the 1960s. But now the rumor is that the MCU Fantastic Four either came from the 1960s the whole time, or they were thrown back in time after an accident. In the Fantastic Four charting in the 60s is just a reference to their adventures in the 60s, trying to find a way back to the present day and also fighting supervillains of that era. One of the other side Easter eggs, like one of the reasons why Kevin Feige wanted to bring the Fantastic Four to the MCU before he did a brand new version of the X-Men team, is because the Fantastic Four are Marvel's first family, like literally and metaphorically. They started in the early 1960s, way before the Avengers, way before the X-Men. And also because the Fantastic Four hadn't really gotten a great movie yet. Even though there have been a lot of bad X-Men movies, there have been a lot of really good X-Men movies too. Kevin Feige also wanted to bring back some of the more popular X-Men actors first, like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Patrick Stewart as versions of Professor X, even Ian McKellen's Magneto is supposed to come back in Deadpool 3. So he wanted to bring all those people back before he did a whole new version of the X-Men with recast actors. Also, there's the whole idea of everything going on with Avengers 5, Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars, and Reed Richards has such a strong connection with Kang in the comics. Kang, for instance, originally debuted in the early Fantastic Four comics as Rama Tut. That's why Kang is mostly a Fantastic Four character, so it just made sense to do their team first.
Yeah.
Long term, it sounds like Marvel's plan is to try and position the new Adam Driver, Reed Richards, as one of the de facto leaders of the MCU, the way that Iron Man and Steve Rogers, Captain America, were during the Infinity Saga movies. It's just that we're starting to get more teams now in the MCU just in general, whereas before it was just the Avengers. So it sounds like Reed Richards is going to become one of the most important characters that they have, or they would like him to become one. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened that Marvel did not plan for. Like originally, I think the idea is that Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther would become that big leader in the MCU, and they were going to position all their movies around him. They still have Tom Holland's Spider-Man. He's still going to continue to be in the movies, and I think he'll continue to be one of the biggest characters that they have. He's also one of the most popular characters in the history of the world. Like Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman are the three most popular characters in the history of the world, just in general. Mm-hmm. But I think Marvel originally had...
So you tell me Blue Beetle's not one of the most popular superheroes in the world?
had all these plans for the Black Panther character before he passed away. I don't know if they have plans to do their children right away. Franklin Richards and Valeria... John Krasinski's Reed Richards in the 838 universe said that they already existed outside the MCU, and the reports on Doctor Doom right now are that he won't be a big character in this first new Fantastic Four movie. They're waiting a little bit longer to do his character.
Why?
But there'll probably be some Easter eggs and references to him during the movie. And I just did a video for Kevin Feige and Jon Favreau talk about Doctor Doom, about how Robert Downey Jr. almost became Doctor Doom in the Marvel movies. That would have been a very, very different version of the character. Like, imagine a much more unhinged, crazy energy Doctor Doom.
Yeah, but I can see it, though.
Iron Man, but make it Doom. I am Doom.
He would have been a good Doctor Doom.
I'm glad that he was cast as Iron Man instead. Kevin Feige even says he believes they wouldn't have a studio were it not for the success of that first Iron Man movie. So they owe a lot of Marvel Studios to Robert Downey Jr. Speaking of Doctor Doom, though, reportedly the villain of this new Fantastic Four movie will be Galactus. Like, they're going to full Galactus way sooner than I expected. So we'll find out what's going on with that pretty soon. I just did a big Galactus video. There have been some more casting announcements about that, so I might do another one pretty soon, too. And speaking of X-Men, there's a bunch of good X-Men news that I'll do a video for later this week. And my full Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse review will post on Wednesday, so look out for that. Congratulations to Barracuda. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your contact details. You're the giveaway winner for my last big Marvel video. Everyone click here to learn about Robert Downey Jr.'s...
All right, so it's good and bad. Margot Robbie, great. Adam Driver, we already know that's not really big news. The Human Torch, the Thing, is cool. You can't really mess up the Thing unless you just have a bad voice. It's all... The wild card is the Human Torch. So let me know y'all thoughts, who y'all want to play the Human Torch. Oh, we out.